What's up, guys? Austin here with Leaf Hat Co. Gonna go through a bag dump video today on everything I would bring on a spring bear hunt. Got a trip coming up here in middle of May that I'm preparing for, so packed out or loaded up my bag with absolutely everything I would take on an overnight or like 3 to 5 day backpack hunt, excluding food. So food is a whole separate deal. Can go on and on about food, but today is really just focused on the gear aspect. So yeah, let's jump right into it. Gonna start with some items on the side here just to kind of get these out of the way. So first off, gonna talk clothing system. I generally like to bring 2 quote unquote base layers. That way when I completely sweat one out, I can swap. But the way I really do it is I have a very lightweight merino wool hoodie. And then I have like a mid-weight, like a 210 merino hoodie. So these are my 2 base layers. I'll swap these in and out. Usually hiking this one sweated all the way out, but I've always got 2. And then I've got a synthetic mid layer. So this is gonna kind of complete that upper body system outside of a rain jacket and a puffy. So I just have the 2 merino layers and then a synthetic thicker weight, more of like a mid layer. So 3 pieces up top, and then I'll make a game time decision in the field on which pant I want to run. This is a synthetic katana from Kuyu, super lightweight, breathable. I'll always have like zip off merino long johns to run underneath either one of these, but if there's not a ton of snow and we're more chasing the snow line, I'll use these. If there is a ton of snow or a lot of moisture, just like rain in the forecast, I'll use these guide pants, which are fleece lined from Kuyu as well. But these are just a thicker, sturdier, kind of water resistant but soft outer shell pant with a fleece lining, so nice for when it's a little colder. Next up, I'll just do my bino harness. I always carry a pistol when I'm bear hunting, especially when I'm bow hunting. A hit bear, can charge you. So I have a sidearm that I carry here on my bino harness. I've got the marsupial harness, which I absolutely love, super comfy harness. I've got the SIG Zulu 6 10x30 mil image stabilized binos. Absolutely love these things. They're super lightweight, and my marsupial harness is a little big for these, but it allows me to oftentimes put my sunglasses down in the bottom when I'm not using them. So I still use a bigger harness there. Rangefinder on the side, got a Vortex Ranger 1800. Really love that rangefinder and just Vortex in general. They've got amazing warranty. And then I always carry like a separate release here in this side pouch, as well as an extra headlamp, or my main headlamp will usually go in there, extra headlamp in the bag, and then I've always got like a separate release and another flashlight in the side pouch there. Set that aside. And then got crispy Laponia boots. Love these things. Been using these for a couple of years, and they are super lightweight, very flexible, and I like that. They just are the most comfortable boot I've found. And then some King's gaiters. I love the quiet nature of these. These are the quietest gaiters I've found, and I'll hunt anything, but as a bow hunter primarily, I'm always thinking about somewhere I can gain an advantage in my gear, where something is offering just some quietness to it. Cool, let's start breaking down the pack. So right on top here, I've got the Nemo switchback pad. This goes under my sleeping pad to prevent me from puncturing my pad, but this is also my sit pad for glassing. Also in seasons where you got orange, it's nice to throw this on the backpack. But this is probably the most used item in my bag. Literally every single time I stop and I'm not hiking, this goes on the ground. I'm sitting on this. Keeps you warm, keeps you comfy. And then I got some sissy sticks, trekking poles. Sometimes I'll use these on the pack in, sometimes I don't. If I'm off trail, I pretty much never use these when I'm hunting. But I like them because I have a shelter that pitches with trekking poles, and then if I get something down, I'm definitely going to be using these on the pack out, but kind of TBD if I'm going to use these while hunting. Usually not. At most I'll have one. because I've always got my bow in my other hand. Speaking of which, I guess actually just pop over here just to get all the side items out of the way. Bow that I'm shooting is the Hoyt RX5. It's a few years old, but I shoot it great, and I shoot the same arrow through a couple different bows. This is a Victory VAP 250 spine. Total arrow weight is like 545 grains. I'm doing like almost 300 feet per second, like 298 out of this bow. So super confident to shoot this arrow at bears, elk, deer. Shoot the same thing at every species. And yeah, love Hoyt bows. So we'll set that off to the side here. So back on the pack, just start with what's in my lid. These are just kind of quick items. On top of the hydration bladder that I'll drink from, got this Hydro Pack 3 liter with the same quick connect on top. This saves me a ton of time. My water filtration is a Catadine hiker pump system, and that same little quick connect hooks up to both my water bladders, so I can fill these in a matter of 5 minutes. I know there's a million ways to sterilize water, but or clean your water, but that filter has just never done me wrong. Always finding like a decent running water source to pump out of, and this is just a great backup that's super quick to fill. Got a kind of two-piece set of gloves here. I've got merino liners inside of a deerskin glove. I'll oftentimes throw a wood stove in with my kit, so that I'm able to dry out my gear and just reset at night. The stove is great, and I really like having the deerskin gloves to be able to handle wood and just things at camp. These are just super durable, and they're cheap, like 15 bucks at a feed and supply store, and then some merino liners that were like 25 bucks to go inside of them. Got a little warming pouch for my food, a little homemade deal here. My older brother actually made this, but just a nice little reflective pouch to slip your food bags in. And then this also just holds my eating tool, as well as a titanium lid for my mug. I make coffee virtually every time I stop. I eat hot soups at night a lot of times. And whenever you got that wood stove around too, I can just set my cup up on the stove and keep it hot at night. So pretty much all the liquids I'll consume at night are always going to be hot, just like a hot drink in the mountains. I got some cleats here, some Black Diamond cleats. These are another game time decision. If it's icy or dealing with a ton of snowpack, then I'll probably carry these. These are probably about a pound-ish, so they are a bit of a weight penalty, but if I'm dealing with the elements, these are definitely worth it, just to have that traction on the trail. This is kind of like my main stuff sack for the lid with all my just like what ifs. This is my main headlamp. This would go actually in my bino harness when I'm headed out, but I've got a backup headlamp in here, some fire starter, and just like a possibles pouch. This has extra batteries for my flashlight. It's got one extra battery for my Peaks headlamp, which is rechargeable, but I like just having one extra. It's got some moleskin in here, but super minimalist. This probably weighs 6 ounces, 5 ounces. The batteries are heavy, but this is a part of my kit. Like, I know when I started, I used to think of every what if option, but this really is just like a little bit extra fire starter, a couple extra batteries for rangefinder and flashlight, the bare essentials there, some fire starter like I said, and an extra headlamp. So pretty simple there. And I would have an external charger there, just like a little battery bank is packed away for show we're headed to, but I'd have a battery bank in there. Go super simple there. I just have like an Amazon Anchor one that was 30 bucks and super lightweight. And then this is just a sight and bowstring cover. So at night when I'm hiking around, or anytime, I rarely strap my bow to my backpack. I like carrying it, but when I'm back at camp for the night and I'm just going to stash my bow under a tree, or really just anytime it's being stored, hiked, moving around the truck, whatever it is, I'll throw the sight cover and bowstring cover on my bow. That's it for the lid. So let's pop this open. I'll actually, we can start in here. So this is really getting into, the core of my pack. So first off, I have a Silex Seek Outside tent. Really like this for bear season and for early season when I'm trying to stay super lightweight. This does have a stove jack, so on the late season hunts, when I'm solo, I'll run this with the stove. But this is great for spring bear because this doubles as a tarp. And I don't really use a tarp that much in the fall, but in the spring you can definitely get those rains, sleet storms that come out of nowhere. And if you want to stay glassing, this is great to be able to pitch as a tarp. Definitely big enough for 2 guys to get under, even 3 to just get out of a storm. And then this pitches with my trekking poles, so super simple shelter, lightweight, and doubles as a tarp. I do have some down booties in here. These are definitely a nice to have, not a necessity. Some of my hunting buddies definitely give me shit for carrying these or just how heavy my pack weighs, although we'll talk about how heavy this all weighs at the end. I was pleasantly surprised at where I landed here. But these things are great. I'll pretty much always have a second set of footwear on my hunt, whether it's a pair of flip-flops, Crocs, down booties, stockisins. I've brought them all. I like the stockisins a lot for mule deer hunts or for summer season because your feet aren't going to get cold. But when I'm either spring, right, we're right at the tail end of winter, or in the fall, I love these down booties. I just run pretty cold, and these are worth it in my opinion for having around camp. Get your feet out of your boots and kick back and relax and actually give your feet a second to reset. Got a down jacket here. I've had this thing forever. This is a Mammut. I don't even know the model, but it's a Pertex treated down, super lightweight. I'd never go into the woods without a down jacket. I also carry down pants, so I got the full down system here. Down booties, down pants, down jacket. Like I said, I run pretty cold, so I'll pretty much hang out in just these and my base layers at night, and then I'm popping these on and off every time I stop to glass early or late. Just nice to stay warm on the glassing knob, and it keeps me in my glass longer, and it sure makes camp comfy at night when I am completely warm and never having to sit by the fire or think about warming up. I'm just always comfortable. I feel like it gives my body a good chance to reset too, and I'm never, shivering. This is just a floor mat that goes with the Seek Outside shelter, so like a Tyvek material but quieter. Got a Big Agnes Aircore Ultra pad. This is the short pad. It's kind of a beefier sleeping pad, but I have popped a million pads in the backcountry. It's kind of why I have the redundancy of bringing the foldable like Z mat as well as a sleeping pad, but I've popped so many. I just don't trust just this, even though this is one of the sturdier pads I've found. I just like a good sleep. I did go with the short length. I just feel like a little bit of weight savings there. I can put stuff at the end of my bag and my feet won't hang off, or I'm a side sleeper, so I'm gonna tuck my feet up a little bit. Definitely a little bit of weight savings there. This is probably a heavier pad when you look at all the ones that are on the market. Jetboil, another piece of gear that I've had forever, but I like it. It's simple. It does great in the wind, and it just works. So I've got my sleeping bag in a different stuff sack. So this is just like a outdoor research stuff sack, but this is the Stone Glacier Chilkoot 15 degree, not the 0 degree, but this is the warmest sleeping bag I've ever had. I use it into November, late November for late season hunts, December, January hunts down in the desert, every environment I can put it through here in Colorado, and I've never been warmer in a sleeping bag. I absolutely love this bag. I got my zip off merino long johns in here, so part of my clothing kit, but I will always have these regardless of whether I wear the fleece lined or not. These are just super simple on and off. Definitely one of the pieces of gear I would recommend spending a little extra on if you don't have zip off long johns. These are fantastic for being able to start the morning, hike, be comfy the whole time. As soon as you get warm, zip them right off. Same thing at the end of the day. Definitely worth the price there. And then this is also kind of a game time decision, although this kind of doubles as like a meat tarp for me, but this is just like a super lightweight sole bivy. I think this thing weighs like 14 ounces, but this and the ground pad is kind of redundant. I could probably get away with just one of these, but I do like having this in my bag once I've set up camp. You know, sometimes I'll put camp on my back every single day. Other times I'll find a good spot and I want to be set up there for 2 to 4 days, you know, before changing camp locations. So if I set up camp and I have a ground tarp there for my stuff, this bivvy out in the field just provides a nice spot for me to sit, not get wet. It actually is like a sleeping bag, so I can, you know, tuck my legs into this. I've even made ground blinds before and just been hanging out in this for a few hours, glassing if the wind is ripping. This keeps kind of the wind off your legs and just that heat that goes into the ground. So this is kind of a game time decision, but I'll oftentimes bring this. I think it's worth the 14 ounces or whatever it weighs. I've got a Kuyu stalker bag in here. This is my hydration bladder. So I'll see if I can get this unclipped. So this is my hydration bladder, and then this also kind of doubles as like a kill kit, or my whole kill kit goes inside of this without being in any kind of one stuff sack. So on the top here, I've got some paracord, backup wind checker, some extra fire starter. I've got the one in my lid that I always use, but then, you know, if I am going on a long stalk, I'll pop this out of the pack. This has straps on it like a backpack, so I'll wear this, and then I just know that if I get away from my bag, I can still make a fire. Knife sharpener, super mini backup lighter, and a fixed blade knife. This is a Spyderco super short fixed blade. Love this for elk or bigger game where you're just needing to get around the joints a little bit more. I mean, you don't need it, but it's nice to have a fixed blade. If I was super concerned about weight, I could get away with just my Outdoor Edge replaceable. Absolutely love that Outdoor Edge 3-inch replaceable. It's the most sturdy replaceable blade knife I've found, and I could get away with that, but I like having a little bit sturdier fixed blade. And then I've just got a bunch of game bags in here, and then my water bladder. So sweet little kill kit and hydration bladder system combo. Kind of eliminates the need for a separate bag for your kill kit, although you don't need a bag for your hydration bladder. This keeps it all nice and clean and simple, and I don't really mess with anything in my kill kit. This just comes in and out to refill with water, and it goes with me on stocks if I'm leaving the big bag. P-cord from the kill kit. That's pretty much everything except for my side pouches here. I've got some optics. I've got my spotting scope here, 65 mil Vortex spotting scope with MagView digiscoping system. Had this thing forever. Again, I know a lot of guys like toying with gear. I'm kind of the opposite. I like gear and I like investing in nice gear, but when I find something that works, I don't really change it. So that spotting scope is simple but effective. Got my first aid kit from Stealthy Hunter. I've taken a few things out of here. There's like a bigger splint in here, so it's pretty lightweight, but I've got a tourniquet in here, some clotting agents, a bunch of gauze, few, you know, little like disposable packs of medicine. So there's like one thing of Tylenol, I think allergy med, some gauze, but super basic. This is really just for like wound care, like major wound care, stopping severe bleeding. I've got my water filtration system here. Like I said, this is the Catadine pump system. Had this forever, super lightweight. What I like about this too is you can get away with filtering out of, you know, a less than ideal water source. If you're just finding puddles, this little thing will dip right into a puddle, whereas like scooping out of a puddle, I think this is a little better. It is a little bit heavier than like a wand treatment system, but I replace the filter in this all the time. It is super quick. Like I mentioned earlier, I've kind of, you know, optimized my other bladders for this system. It's a super quick plug and play, just like disconnect. So I can stop at a water source and fill up 6 liters very, very quickly. And this is pretty lightweight. I've tried a lot of different filtration systems out there, and that one's just done me right. Got a rain jacket in here. This is another thing that never really leaves my bag. Rain jacket and down jacket are always in there. And I like to keep it on the side here so I can get to it within 10 seconds if a storm blows in. And then I've got a titanium mug with a little insulating wrap on here and some camo tape to dim down the colors. But always use that for coffee every single day, all day, every day, and all the hot liquids. And then I've got a little stuff sack for my tripod. This is a Vortex Carbon Summit 2 tripod. I think this thing's like right at 2 pounds. Great tripod and great warranty. Love everything Vortex, although those SIG binos are an absolute game changer. Still love Vortex for all the gear they make and the warranty that they offer. And I think that does it. Got some bear spray, a little Mystery Ranch bear spray harness on my hip. I've got the Stone Glacier hip pouch on this side with my Garmin InReach and a tourniquet. Always heard with tourniquets that one is none, two is one is none. So I've got a quick access one on my hip and then another tourniquet in my bag. So first aid kit, I think to some guys is too much. A lot of guys joke about just carrying a roll of tape as their med kit, but you know, I want to be on the safe side. I train all year to carry this kind of weight, so I'm really not going to worry about a first aid kit that weighs less than a pound. But always keep that in my hip pouch. And this guy, maybe a couple snacks, but those two things are kind of safety related. I like being able to get to those super quick, know right where they are every single time. And that is it, guys. Yeah, appreciate you checking out our gear dump video on a spring bear. Weight wise, this pack came in at 42.5 pounds with 3 liters of water in it. So that was, I believe, right at 6.5 pounds of water. So yeah, right at about 38 pounds, I believe. No, 36 pounds, 36.5 pounds minus the water. For my whole sleep system, I can live off of my back. So I'd be coming in at 42.5 and then food on top of that, plus my weapon. That was not my weapon, not my bino harness. That was just the pack weight. So 42.5 with a full bladder of water, it's pretty good. And then call it, 2 to 3 pounds per day for food, depending on your food load. I'm usually heading out between 3 and 5 days or 3 and 7 days, depending on how much I've scouted the area. But yeah, pretty happy to be, way sub 50 before I start adding food. Pretty confident I can head into the woods with, 55 or less pounds on my back. In my opinion, that's a great weight to be at if you're training all year and getting used to rucking with a weighted pack. It's a totally manageable load. You're gonna be comfortable and then ready to, come out heavy, hopefully with some meat. So yeah, thanks for checking out the Spring Bear bag dump video. Leaf Hat Co. Good luck out there in the field this year.